The state of Texas has surpassed 4,000 deaths due to COVID-19 since the pandemic began. Governor Greg Abbott implemented a mandate on face coverings statewide in public places July 2nd, but he has not said he will shut down the state. Governor Abbott joins me now from Austin. Governor, the city of El Paso said during our city council meeting today it cannot set up more testing sites because it does not have the necessary supplies. Our fire department chief said they put in orders for 20 to 30,000 swabs. They're only getting 5,000, which doesn't take them very far when they're trying to test 4,000 people a day. So what is the status of the Texas supply chain and what's being done to provide cities with what they need?
I had the opportunity to visit with the Vice President as well as Dr. Burks on Monday of this week, talking about that very issue about increasing testing supplies. Know this, and that is when we began the process of opening up Texas, the goal was to test about 30,000 people a day. We're now currently testing more than double that, about 60,000 people a day. And as a result, there are more demands for more supplies, but our key demand to Washington, D.C. is for Texas to get more of it and to make sure that El Paso will be receiving its share. We want to do all we can to make sure everyone who needs access to a COVID-19 test in El Paso area is going to get that test.
Is there a time frame as to when those supplies will arrive?
I was told it could be later this week or next week. And there's another thing I will tell you related to it that they're doing, and that is they're providing separate supplies for us to once again test all nursing homes. And by doing that, that will automatically free up additional supplies for others where some of those supplies were going into nursing homes. Bottom line is there will be instantaneous testing going on in nursing homes in El Paso, as well as across the state, as well as additional testing supplies for the El Paso region.
Governor, the New York Times quoted your advisor, David Carney, saying earlier this week that you are directing your request to Vice President Mike Pence. Do you feel like President Trump isn't responding to your request for help?
Actually, I spoke to the president for help on Sunday night, and he was very responsive to my request. I speak to the president frequently about it, but obviously, as everybody knows, Mike Pence has been named the head of the Coronavirus Response Task Force, and that's why we visit with the vice president at least weekly. But for us in Texas, because we are facing challenges right now, and because Washington has been so responsive to our requests, I am speaking to the vice president several times a week. What they provided is all these medical surge teams that we've been able to deploy across the entire state of Texas, and we're very grateful for the way that the Trump administration has been providing us more resources.
Hidalgo County Judge Richard Cortez signed a new shelter-at-home order yesterday to help control the spread of COVID-19. That new order includes a curfew for anyone over the age of 18, travel restrictions, and a requirement to use facial coverings when outdoors. Your thoughts about the judge's order?
First, the part about facial covering is part of my executive order across the entire state. Now, this is proven to be effective. There was a study that came out by the University of North Texas Health Science Center earlier this week showing that the use of face masks has actually lowered the spread of COVID-19 in the state. Everyone in the state, whether you're in El Paso or elsewhere, you need to adopt this standard as you go about your daily activities. The curfew is something that increasingly counties around the state are beginning to adopt to make sure that they're able to do even more to slow the spread of COVID-19. Everyone in El Paso needs to understand that COVID-19 has not left the state, is not going away, is going to be with us a while. We need to learn to manage it, and we need to make sure we're doing everything we can to not give it to anybody else.
Governor, it seems like, though, that message is still falling on deaf ears, even here in El Paso. Is there a mandatory mask order coming from your office anytime soon?
There is a mandatory mask order already in place as we speak. It went into effect on July the 2nd. We wanted to make sure that it was in place before the 4th of July. So there's already an executive order by the governor of the state of Texas in place for several weeks already that people, whether you're in El Paso or Beaumont, Texas, the Panhandle, or the Rio Grande Valley, it applies to everybody in this state, and people in El Paso need to follow this order, knowing that if you want to protect your family members from getting COVID-19, if you want to save lives and your own family, you need to be wearing those face masks.
Governor Greg Abbott, thanks very much for talking with us this afternoon.